But we're starting in the kitchen. Everyone's thinking about cooking out this weekend,
Yeah.
4th of July. The weather's looking beautiful. Maybe not today, but that's okay. I'll take it.
We're going to get there, so we're making
are.
a sweet and savory meal. It's the perfect combo for those summertime cookouts, though.
Chef John Slattery is a general manager and head chef at Pap's Bar and Grill in Westfield, and he joins us to make teriyaki pork. Nice to have you here, John.
Hello, and welcome. And thank you for having me. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
What do you want to start with? What should we be starting with?
So what first we're going to do is we're going to make a homemade teriyaki sauce, because it's nice if you can make your own instead of just buying a jug and going blub blub blub. But you can do that if that's fine, and you can. Teriyaki is a Japanese method of grilling or barbecuing where a protein or a meat or tofu or a vegetable is basted with a sticky, sweet, kind of sour sauce. With a little bit of salt, and the glaze, the shininess on it is where it comes from, the teri part of the teriyaki. So we're going to make a homemade teriyaki sauce. It's a fairly simple process. So we have a pan here, and it's probably too hot, so we're going to move it away from the fire and just test.
Everything's better homemade, too, especially those pre-made teriyaki sauces that you buy are loaded with sugar and weird stuff. So, okay, what did you just throw in there?
Because the pan was too hot, I put the pineapple juice in first, because if I would have put the soy sauce in first, it would have burned the soy sauce. So, so we're going to put in the pineapple juice, about a cup of pineapple juice.
Okay, we got some soy sauce in there.
And then we're going to put in about a cup and a half of soy sauce. You could also use tamari, which is an aged soy sauce. And because it takes longer to make, they actually make it only from soy. It has no wheat in it. Most soy sauces, they use some wheat in the process to make it faster, the bulk produced soy sauces. So their regular soy sauce is not gluten-free. But you can, if you want to make a gluten-free teriyaki sauce, you could use tamari. And you can find that in the specialty food section at the grocery store.
And there's also some bottles that have just amino acids in them, too, which works in case you're cooking gluten-free.
Awesome. So into the pot, we're going to now add, I'm going to use large pieces because we're going to strain them out later, but they're just for the flavoring part of the process. So some nice fresh garlic, fresh
ginger.
Oh, look at that. And you don't even have to peel it.
No, we're just going to put, I washed it, and then we're just throwing it in there, and then we're going to put some garlic in there.
All right, but you chopped the garlic.
I did chop the garlic a little bit, but we could have left them a little on the bigger side. And then some green onions.
Now this all goes in at once. We're not letting it reduce or anything like that?
It's going to reduce with all these ingredients in it, and that's what's going to develop the flavor. So
now, could you make a whole lot of this and then put it in a can and freeze it, or a jar? I mean,
you could jar it, put it in the fridge, and keep it for a couple weeks. Or if you're into canning, you can make a bunch of it and can it and pressure seal and keep it on the shelf for as long as you want it.
Oh.
So you can make a big batch and get into a whole canning project.
Now, how long should we let it cook down for?
Well, it's going to cook down until we come back later in the segment, and so I'll show you. And we're going to put brown sugar in it. The brown, that's the sweetness.
And that's what's going to give it that shine, I bet, too.
The sugar gives it the shine, exactly. So we're just going to stir the brown suger in.
With a scallion, because that's the best tool to use.
Well,
that's essential.
Infuses even more flavor.
If you're using a spatula, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
And then we're going to put a little bit of white pepper.
Okay.
And now, why white? Does it have a different flavor?
It's just...
Because I don't own that. Can I use black pepper? Will it still be good?
You could use black pepper, but you don't... The reason white pepper is used most of the time is because you don't see it. So if you don't want the little black flecks in everything, then you use the white pepper.
Okay.
So we've got that together, and we're going to let that reduce on the stove at high to medium heat. If we're watching it carefully, we can use higher heat, but if you're going to be doing other things, you might want to use a medium heat so it doesn't burn anything.
Yeah, that's me.
Because the sugar
low and slow.
Keep it medium, Ashley.
Yeah, I don't want to burn anything. All right, red pepper.
I also got the red pepper roasting on the grill top over here. This is a fresh bell pepper, and I'm roasting it on the grill top, and we're going to add that to the salad later.
So later in the show, we're doing some pork, we're making some salad, and then we're going to utilize our dressing, right?
The pork I have these nice, very thin pork and skewers that I soaked overnight in the paper towel in the paper towel in the refrigerator, so they're moist. If we were grilling over an open fire, we would need that specifically because then our sticks would burn. And we're going to skewer some sticks, and when we come back, we're going to baste them with our homemade teriyaki sauce and grill them, as well as we're going to make a nice stone fruit salad with the nectarines and plums. The grilling is going to release their sweetness because they're not quite necessarily ripe this time of year, but our local ones will be coming very soon. So you can take one from the grocery store, and by the grilling process, it's going to help make it a little softer and bring out the sweetness in it as well.
Perfect. Well, John, we'll let you get to work, and we're going to check in with 22 News Storm Team Meteor.
We're back in the kitchen with Chef John Slattery, General Manager and Head Chef at Pap's Bar and Grill. We're finishing up the grilled food here. So you made the teriyaki pork.
So I reduced the teriyaki sauce in the pan until it was nice and thick.
Nice
and you took all the ginger out of it.
See it, yep. And I strained it so that we have a nice. See, it's so thick that it's locked up in the pan. We can see right here.
Oh yeah, it's like a molasses-esque sauce now.
So that's nice. It's going to give that nice glaze to pork. So I've been kind of while I've been grilling the fruit, I've been taking the pork on the skewers and giving them a light coating.
So you don't marinate them, you just coat them?
You can do it either way.
Okay.
And now, if you were to marinate them in the teriyaki sauce, don't use that sauce to drizzle over them afterwards.
Right.
But if you just put some on it and then cook it, we can take this sauce, which hasn't been contaminated with the raw pork, and that's what gives it the glaze. So
right.
You can kind of give a little bit more, like, baste it on. That's kind of the story of teriyaki, is basting on this glazy goodness onto a piece of cooked meat.
Nice. Now, John, the pieces that you cut up, they're very thin. And pork, you don't have to eat it when it's cooked through. So this is maybe, what, 30 seconds, a minute on each side?
Yeah, about 2 minutes tops for the whole thing, because the grill is hot and the pork is thin.
As long as it's sliced thin, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about the fruit now, which I am really excited to try.
All right, so I've been grilling. I split nectarines and plums and sliced some pineapple here. And so by splitting it, I ran the knife around it the opposite way of the stems, so I can twist the fruit.
Okay.
And sometimes it doesn't work, so you have to use your knife very carefully and split the fruit.
Now, stone fruit, am I wrong? Stone fruits always have pits in the middle.
Pits, exactly. So the knife won't cut through the pit, but we can break it off and we can grill the pieces that we get off.
Right, because you're going to cut it up anyway for the salad, right?
Exactly. So
okay.
then we grilled them. So we got some nice grilled pieces. And we've basically chopped up the grilled pineapple and the grilled plums and nectarines, the red pepper that we roasted. So those are all in the bowl here. And they've released their sweetness by heating them up. And then the charredness gives them a little bit of release of the caramelization. While it's still warm, I'm going to put in a little bit of gorgonzola cheese.
Oh, yeah. That looks amazing.
A little bit of balsamic vinegar.
And it's one of those things, we all love fruit salad, but this adds a whole different taste to it when it brings out the natural sugars.
And then to offset all the flavors, I've got some fresh mint from the garden.
Nice.
I'm going to take a couple of the big leaves here and chop them up and add them in.
So is this something that you want to serve warm?
It could be served warm. Usually, probably right off the grill. While the fruit is still warm, it's going to release the flavor from the gorgonzola, melt it down a little bit, kind of make it, and the mint's going to release its smells and give a nice flavor and aromatics.
I'm going to give everybody a little preview of tomorrow's show. We're going to tackle mint, talk about it as an herb. It's the mint family. The shaft of the herb, it's a square. It's a square root. It's not a circular root like every other plant. So there's something to think about until the show tomorrow. Sure, I dare you.
Very intriguing. It's true.
It's a square. Have you ever felt that before, John?
I have.
Isn't that something?
And it's relentless. Don't plant it in your garden unless you're going to be able to contain it.
Yes, it is. It's like a weed. Very nice.
So we have the grilled pineapple and some grilled plums and nectarines for the garnish underneath. And then we all have those same ingredients chopped up, again, tossed with a little bit of balsamic vinegar, gorgonzola cheese, fresh mint. There's some salt and pepper in there. And then the pork teriyaki with that glaze. And we can drizzle a little bit more glaze on the salad to bring all the flavors together.
And this is perfect for your 4th of July cookout.
Right?
Get grilling. It's going to be nice weather. I don't want to
celebrating.
But thank you so much, Chef John. Nice to have you here.
Thanks